Hi guys, welcome back. If you're new to the channel, welcome, good to have you. If you like Natasha Denona eyeshadow palettes and her face palettes, subscribe to this channel, ring the bell to get notified every time new content is released. I do review and do looks using Natasha Denona eyeshadow palettes quite a bit, and her face palettes actually. So what you're going to find throughout this video is I will link past Natasha Denona videos that I've created above. I'll pop some links below as well, so you guys, if you're interested, you can go have a look. Well, I am so excited about this Glam palette. I actually ordered it on the Sephora app the day it became available, like first thing in the morning that I could get to it. I went and placed my order. So here it is. And I gotta say, this gray is not just a silvery, a classic silver, or it's just not a gray. There is like some brown undertone to it. I don't know if you guys can see it. I like that kind of nuanced shade. And there is a shade in here, well, I guess an in-between shade, in between two shades that kind of remind me of the cover. It's this one here. This is Transition and Center Eyelid. We'll talk about the names of these shades in a little bit here, but I just like the package. If a package color is great, it's just that much better of an experience, or a starting experience. So I've been really excited about this palette. Curious that I ordered this palette on the Sephora app the moment that I could, but I still received it a couple of days later than a lot of other people that I've seen share their photos on Instagram, and of course have a video created and released on YouTube. So I wonder if those people actually pre-ordered off of Natasha Denona's website, or maybe paid for express shipping on Sephora. Yeah, maybe that is the case. I was just a little bit surprised that it arrived a bit later than I thought it would. But anyway, it's here. We're making this video. I like the look that I created. Per usual, I will include timestamps below so that you guys can skip through to the demo if you wanted to the finished look, or if you just are interested in the final thoughts. And then right now, what I'm going to do is just read a little bit about the product from the website, so the product description from the website. I'm always very curious about her formulas. When we're talking about her metallics, there are actually a few different textures of metallics, and that's what we find on this palette. And there are no duochromes, so it's a combination of metallics and matte shades. So we'll talk a little bit more about that. If you guys just want to go to the demo, again, timestamps are below. So straight from the website, this is the ultimate must-have palette featuring 15 brand new cool and neutral shades, designed to create a variety of looks from neutral everyday to extreme glam and dramatic smoky eyes. I would say today I definitely have a glamorous smoky eye. It is pretty dramatic, but not as dramatic as the looks you see created on the models in the marketing for this palette. So presenting special inner makeup tips from Natasha Denona herself, each shade is labeled to guide you while creating your look. Since the palette includes the option to pop, put, and rearrange the shades, you can customize your own constellation to suit your preference and skin tone. Okay, that's great. Yes, let's talk about that. So with her kind of smaller $65 15 pan palettes, there are holes in the back here. So you can stick something in the hole and it will pop the pan, the eyeshadow out, and that gives you the ability to rearrange as you see fit. So this is the bronze palette, same thing, also from Natasha Denona that she released over the summer. You see the holes in the back here, so I can pop any of these out. I wonder how this would look, mixing these cool tones or neutral shade with these warm tones here. I'm just curious what I could create out of it. That might be another video idea. I'll be sure to let you guys know if I could sit down and combine these two and play with them. I do think it's really cool to be able to pop out the pans to create your own palette, and I actually haven't gotten a chance to do that, so as much as I'm talking about it right now, I definitely still want that opportunity in the future so that I can just see what that's like. What looks can I put together? What kind of inspiration could come from that? And if it's a good one, I'll be sure to share with you guys as well. Okay, back to the description. What it does. Formulated with crushed pearls and crystals, including very distinctive textures for seamless blending and maximizing color payoff to achieve vibrant, ultra pigmented, long lasting looks. Yes, in some of her shadows, actually in some of her products, that includes face products as well and eyeshadows, they do have crushed crystals in it, which is how you get that kind of really, I guess, even but very shiny, glittery, glistening look. The benefits of the product: shades and formulas were hand designed by world-renowned makeup artist Natasha Denona, made with the highest quality pure color pigments, dazzling chroma crystals, and luminous mineral pearls. Its buttery smooth hydrating eyeshadow formula wears beautifully on any type skin and skin tone. It's cruelty-free, paraben-free, made in Italy. It retails for $65 US. And in a palette, you do get 0.67 ounces or 19.25 grams of product. I like the emphasis of her formulas being very easy to blend, soft, and buttery. I'll talk about this during the demo, but because the formulas are so buttery and they're very soft, you do get kick up, you do get fallout. So you'll see me talk about that too, but I'll just tell you up front is, even so, I've used, I think, 5 shades for this look, and there just wasn't a lot of fallout. And that's always a plus. And I think that stands out the Glam Palette in that way. From this one experience, it stands out from some of her other eyeshadow palettes. It stands out from the bronze palette. From the bronze palette, there could be quite a bit of fallout. It doesn't make me like the palette less, but it does make me like the palette more when there is minimum fallout. As for the shade descriptions, there is a description for every single one of these shades on the website, which I won't go through to save us some time. If you're interested to get the full details, you can get it from her Instagram story, or you can also get that from the website. I'll include a link below to her website so you guys can hop over if you wanted to. And before we head on to the swatches, there are 2 more things I wanted to talk about. The first is the Glam Palette. This full size here is exactly that. It's the 15 pan version of the mini Glam Palette that was released at the start of this year. However, although I'm using the word version, there are actually no repeat shades. I read that off of the site description, but there are no repeat shades, no duplicates from the mini Glam. I don't have the mini Glam palette. I am interested in getting it just to see what that's like, and kind of to have both. It would be fun to use a couple of shades from mini Glam and then the full Glam palette to create a look and see what that is like. But I just wanted to point that out, that there are no duplicates between the 2. As for the size of this palette, you guys saw me wave around the bronze palette earlier. They're the same size. They both retail for $65. A 15 pan palette. In comparison to her older palettes like the Lila palette, although is 15 shades as well, it's actually much bigger in size. The pans are bigger, which is why it's a bigger palette. And so this is the size comparison between Lila and the Glam palette. And with her $65 palettes, the packaging is also different. There are also no holes in these bigger, older palettes here. There isn't really a way for you to pop out the pans without risking any damage and things like that. Although some people have done it successfully. I haven't tried, but that's something to know. Oh, and the final point I wanted to bring up is all of the names of the shades are not typical of what she does for her palettes. In fact, all the names are actually instructions on how you could use these shadows. So for example, this one here is called Inner Corner because it's meant to be put into the inner corner inner corners of your eye. This one here is meant for the crease, etc., etc. So as I go through the swatches, you'll just hear me say a lot of center lid, inner corner, crease, outer eyelid. That is the reason why. She wanted this to be more of a directional naming than anything else, so that people feel like it would be very easy to use her palette for beginners, makeup enthusiasts, and even professional makeup artists. So let's head on over to the swatches. Starting with the shade On My Wrist, this is Center Eyelid. It is a dusty light rose. I love the shade. It is what I put onto the center of my lids today. Below center eyelid is outer eyelid. It is a medium warm gray brown. And then inner corner, a peachy champagne. This shade has crushed crystals in it. It is a beautiful, beautiful shimmer. I don't even mind putting that as a highlighter just to see what it would look like. I think it's just gorgeous. Then it's transition, a mushroom gray, followed by smoke, a medium cool brown, then blend, cool sienna, followed by lash line, which is a deep cool brown, and then inner corner, known as abalone, described on the website, followed by center lid, a medium warm silver, very beautiful metallic, and then another center lid shade, which is a golden nude, then outer eyelid, a pecan brown, followed by center eyelid, a light nude, and then an outer lid shade, which is a medium cool gray brown. Finally, followed by brow bone, it is a neutral champagne shade. We're gonna first apply smoke to the upper lid. And then we're applying outer eyelid to the outer corners of the eyes. And I'm just going to diffuse this a bit here so it looks more natural and less of a, just a swipe of color. And then we're going to take crease and apply that onto the crease. And then with the pinky, we're going to apply center eyelid onto the center of the lid. And as I was applying the center eyelid shade here, I did flow over towards the inner corners. I didn't actually add it onto the inner corner because we're going to save that space for a different shade, but I'm kind of liking how this look. Originally, I thought I would just pat it onto the center and not go too far, but it kind of moved my finger a little bit too far, but now that it's been added on, I think this looks okay. Like I think this is coming together nicely. And then we're going to use the shade Lash Line and apply it just above the lash line. Let's do some cleanup here. There's actually not much fallout, which is always very much appreciated. Natasha Denona's eyeshadow formulas tend to result in creamier, soft shades, and while they're easy to pick up and very easy to blend, sometimes with how pigmented and soft they are all at the same time, it could result in fallout. It's not something I mind too much about because I've kind of changed my whole makeup process centered around doing eyeshadows first, so there's less cleanup, or even if I do need to do extensive cleanup, I'm not wiping away any foundation or concealer, so that's all good to me. And in this case, there was just very little fallout from what came off of the Q-tip, so all around good stuff there. I'm going to put on foundation, concealer, set the makeup, and we'll come back for the rest. We're taking lash line again and adding that to the lower lash line. And then we're taking smoke and actually smoking out the lower lash line with the shade. Then we're taking inner corner and adding that to the inner corners. And we're going to add the same shade to the brow bone. I'm going to put on some mascara, blush, lipstick, then we'll come back for final thoughts. This is the finished look. Well, I like this look. Certainly putting on this kind of pink top here, pink cardigan, did inspire the overall kind of pink theme to this cool tone look. And the reason why I wanted to do something that incorporated a shade in here with a pink undertone is I wanted to demonstrate that this cool tone palette is not your typical fall winter cool tone color story that we're used to seeing. And what I mean by that is there are a lot of brown tones, earth tones, and you know, these with the pink undertone here and then the gold undertone here. What we're used to seeing with cool tone palettes or cool tone color stories is blues, silvery blues, silver, you know, white sparkle with a matte black, or, you know, deep matte cool shades. But this is actually, in a sense, a lot warmer than what we're used to. And I'm going to show you a recent cool tone palette that I got. So this is from YSL. This is from their Couture palette line, and this is Black Opium Sound Illusion. And this is what I mean by, you know, silvery with a little bit of a purple, actually, a silvery tone. You've got your deep, cooler, purpley shade here, and then this is the classic black, and then you've got some pink shimmer. So all this cool tone base, but this is a much more classic cool tone color story than what Natasha Denona has included. But with this palette here, you can create looks that are cool tone but pink based, cool tone but brown based, or you can create cool tone looks with a gold accent to it. And that is very Natasha Denona. It's soft glam that you can amp up to get a lot of dramatic effect or dramatic looks out of it, but she doesn't just give you kind of one kind of or one type of cool tone shade to work with. She gives you quite a bit of variety here, in my opinion. So that's why I wanted to create this look, and I like pink anyways. You guys know I like pink anyways, so I thought this would be something fun, and certainly as a way for me to remember next time I go into the palette and I just wanted to do something like this, that I kind of have like the memory. If I need to look back at this video, I know how to recreate this look. Yeah, sometimes you create a look and you can never recreate it the same way again. Isn't that amazing? Like, you use the same tools, you use the same shades, but how you place it, how heavily you apply the shade, it could still be just a little bit different, your look. But anyways, I digress. I really, so far, enjoy this palette. I do want to spend more time creating different looks and trying it out. As you guys have seen, if you have been following my channel for some time, I typically, with every new Natasha Denona, Pat McGrath, even Viseart palettes, I would do sort of this introductory video with one look. We talk about swatches, we talk about some comparisons, and then shortly afterwards I do a video with two different looks from the palette. So probably that's what I'm going to do this time as well, is do another video with two new looks, different looks from each other, as another video that I can share with you guys next week. And when I think of the Glam palette in terms of how it compares to the Bronze palette, which was a palette that just preceded the Glam palette, I would say Bronze palette shadows or shades overall were more buttery and creamier. I'm not sure if that ultimately had to do with the actual shade itself, which gave us creamier or more buttery textures that actually had a very intense and high color payoff. The shades on the Glam palette has a really good color payoff as well. It's signature Natasha Denona quality, and they swatched really well, but as I was swatching the shades, they didn't quite kind of lasted as long as I moved it across my arm. It deposited a lot of product in the initial part of the swatch, and then it tapered off very quickly, which is not something I recall from Natasha Denona palettes. I don't have all of her palettes, but compared to the ones that I have, that's certainly a difference that I've noticed. This doesn't really deter me, or I'm not going to say that this is a poor quality palette. That's not it at all. But if you find that, you know, when you're swatching and you're playing around with the colors and they don't quite last all throughout your arm as much, that's something to be aware of. I'm not really alarmed because I still got a lot of product initially on that first part of the swatch again, and when I apply that on my lid, as long as I can blend it out, it's all good. As long as it's easy to blend out and will blend together with other shades well, that's all it really comes down to. So, you know, not having that really long swatch without running out of product, it's not really a problem for me. And then finally, just to show you what I mean, is the one shade on the palette that really has this intense foil texture, and it's a metallic that seems to go on forever and ever, or what makes Natasha Denona's metallics formula famous, is going to be that golden shade. This shade here is called Center Eyelid, but it's this gold shade here. I mean, look, it could probably go all, yeah, I mean, it almost goes all the way around my arm, but that is the one that kind of just goes on and on with one swatch. So there you have it. Those are my thoughts on, you know, kind of a palette to palette comparison. So far, I like this palette. Let me know below if you've been thinking about getting this palette, or you might decide to sit out because you don't really like cool tone looks, or you have too many palettes with a cool tone color story that you just might sit it out. But I am liking this so far, and yeah, I think I would recommend it. If you like any of the shades here, I think it's definitely worth looking into. Thanks for watching. See you guys next time. Bye.